The question says f of x equals 2x to the 6th minus 4x to the 10th times 4e to the x plus 9. It asks to find the derivative of f of this function. F prime x is what the question asks to find. So this is really the product of two functions. We'll call this one, or I'll call this one g, I'll call that one h, just for short. The confusion may come into a lot of times people use f and g for the functions, and then you put the product rule and go, well, wait a minute, f prime, is that the derivative of this whole thing? Well, you can call it whatever letter you want. So I'm calling this function g and this function h. Those are the two functions that are multiplied together to make f of x. What does the power rule say? It says when I have two functions, g and h, and I multiply them together, I take the derivative of the first function times the second function plus the derivative of the second function times the first function. So if the functions are g times h, I take g prime h plus h prime g. That is the product rule. Well, what is g prime? Helps to write these, and then you can just put it into the formula. G prime is 6 times 2 is 12. X to the 6 minus 1 is x to the 5th. Minus 10 times 4 is 40. X to the 9th power. And, excuse me, h prime, the derivative of e to the x is just e to the x. So the derivative of 4e to the x is 4e to the x, and the derivative of 9 is 0. So there's, this function is g, this function is h, here's g prime and h prime. Now the formula, f prime x, the derivative of f of x, equals f prime, this is g, g prime times h. G prime is 12, x to the 5th, minus 40, x to the 9th, times h, which is 4e to the x plus 9, plus the derivative of the second function, in this case the derivative of h, which is 4e to the x power, times the original g function, which is 2x to the 6th minus 4x 10th. The question says, do not worry about expanding them or simplifying or whatever. So there's the answer. F prime of x equals 12x to the 5th minus 40x to the 9th times 4e to the x plus 9 plus 4e to the x times 2x to the 6th minus 4x 10th. Why did I call these g and h? I could have called them whatever I wanted to. I could have called this function z and this function y. I could have called this function star and this function squiggle. Then I'd be looking for star prime times squiggle plus squiggle prime times star. Call them whatever you want. I just called them g and h to differentiate them from the overall function f so that it wouldn't get confused. But there's the answer.